I'm on. What's the deal? What's the deal? How you doing today, family? So, as I said before, man, I'm finna start getting on here in the suits and having some high-level conversations. Um, I believe that we have to control our own media. I'm tired of people. Who is that? I'm tired of people in the public painting our own narratives or painting their own narratives about us. So yeah, I think, man, I'm telling you, just me getting up in the suit, first thing first, man, we got to control the black male image. So if you still walk around looking like a hooligan or a thug, you're out of pocket. I got an interview for y'all today, though. Let me see if I can get him up. I don't even know. I don't know how to work this too much. I don't know how to work the Facebook interviews. Give me just a second. Ooh. Guest request, not at all. I don't need nobody trying to request to get in. I got a certain individual I'm trying to get on and chop it up with today. There we go. Invite. Oh, not watch. Yeah. When I get him up here, we can start the conversation. But yeah, man, as I said, first thing first, I feel like we gotta start controlling the black male image. Number two, man, we gotta start putting out our own media. I'm tired of people spinning certain narratives and things like that about what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on in our communities. So I gotta, yeah, man, I'm gonna start doing interviews in a sense and getting different perspectives. I don't know how to tell who is on here to see how to pull them up. I'm sorry, Facebook. Give me just a second. I sent the request to get him in here. Oh, he's in here. Check your family request to come up. There you go. Send the request. Yeah.
Mike, what's good?
Oh, what's the deal? What's the deal with you?
Chilling,
Look
man.
at
Yeah.
All right, so man, I was just telling him, man, I'm telling you, I feel like we gotta start controlling our own narratives, man, and start protecting the black male image, man. So I like the fact you on there on the suit, just like me, man. I'm telling you, we gotta start looking nice, man.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself real quick before we roll into some of these questions.
I mean, just basically, I don't have a whole lot of voice, but I'm gonna use what I got. You feel me? So I won't be able to shout with you. So I hope the people that's watching can actually hear wherever they
Look,
are.
I got a decent microphone that's set up right next to this phone, so it's coming off the phone right into the microphone. So you good?
Bet. Well, man, I'm from Memphis. I'm in San Antonio. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, man, and I've seen my fair share of the dark side and participated in my fair share of what happens on the dark side. So not do I only I know what we face. I've been through what we face. And man, I feel like I've overcome some amazing feats, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like people say you've come a long way. I've made it over a lot of things, man, that was supposed to take me out. And I'm 35 at this point. So I feel like I got a little bit of game to offer. I feel like I got a little bit of strategy to offer to the game, especially as it relates to our young black men, the black community, black women, and our children. I mean, 360-degree angle on that. And I don't want to talk about like my accomplishments and my achievements and, you know, my affiliations and associations. Because they speak for themselves, and you know people gonna find out what they want to know anyway.
Yeah, man. Look into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Find out what you want to know. That's what you got.
Google it. I'm Damon Lake. Do what you do. put it out there, put a bird out, see what she bring back or whatever.
Exactly.
But I'm all about my people. I'm all about my community. Been politically active, been all kinds of actives.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, I do feel like I have something to offer Black America, as many of us do. And I'm glad you're putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
And to just give it what I got, man. I'm just another brother, just like everybody else. But I do like to contribute some positive, high frequency vibration to the game that's gonna change it.
Yeah, man. Spread a little bit of knowledge that we got, man. I'm telling you, I tell people all the time, man, I don't know much. I just be trying to give you whatever I can, man. Take what you can use and throw the rest of it away.
Man, take the meat and throw away the bones. There you go.
Yeah. Man, the first conversation I'm trying to have today is
the tea is piping hot. Let's go. It's piping hot, baby.
It's an individual, man. I ain't when I first seen him, I really don't know how I felt about him. It was a little shocking to me. I ain't never seen nobody, I guess, handle situations and have conversations like that in that manner. Kevin Samuels, man. Let's just start there, dog. How you feel about Kevin Samuels?
Kevin Samuels. I got a few people on what I call Black YouTube that I follow. I unsubscribed from mainstream media probably about 3.5 years ago. I had already developed a level of opinion, intellect, and intelligence where I could hold my own against some of the stuff that mainstream media was kind of putting out there. But some people don't have time for that. They got to take what they, you know what I'm saying? They got to take what they can get. And so mainstream media was putting a lot of stuff out there, man. And mainstream media was namely putting a lot of stuff out there about the Black woman, So when I broke my appetite for your MSNBCs, your CNNs, your Fox News, when I broke my appetite for that, I started reading a little bit. I started doing a little bit of research. And then I hopped on YouTube and I found what suits me. I was just searching, man. And I like for things to happen organically. I don't like to force things. I was just searching for things that fit me. So I popped on YouTube, and it wasn't long before I ran into Kevin Samuels. And when I ran into Kevin Samuels, to be honest with you, my perspective on Kevin Samuels, because we all came from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? We all came out of something. We all came out of a woman, number one. We all came from the pussy. For anybody who might think they might be greater than anybody else, we all came through the womb. We all came here by way of a woman. So my perspective on Kevin Samuels as it related to just what I knew about men, period, just what I knew about men in general, just what I knew about Black men in general. Not only did I live this, but I studied this demographic. I am my brother's keeper. You know what I'm saying? So I have, I'm a great judge of character. And I'm not a judge of character to judge nobody because I don't get paid enough to waste my life force to be trying to judge somebody. But my perspective on Kevin Samuels, if you're in high school, Kevin Samuels was that high energy, skinny dude.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
High energy, skinny dude. You know what I'm saying? In his late 40s, Kevin Samuels really just started to kind of calm down, and I could tell because I'm going into my mid 35s, and I'm really just kind of starting to feel that equilibrium to where I can balance my knowledge, my knowledge and wisdom with my energy. My passion now can be equalized by my knowledge and wisdom. But don't despise your youth at all. So Kevin was that skinny dude, just in my mind. He was that skinny motherfucker, big ass head, little body, big shoes, big ass head, little body, type motherfucker.
The big goofy in the series. You'd think that he's goofy.
Yeah.
I mean, from looking at him and listening to him sometimes, yeah, I mean, I can feel that.
I mean, take away the wisdom.
Yeah.
Take away the knowledge, take away the wisdom, tap into the passion, and you can see where somebody has been and where they're coming from. You know what I'm saying? So high energy guy, I'm not gonna say like I was alone, but I had my own. I had my. I marched to the beat of my own drum for the most part. And so that's another reason why I can see other men so well, because I wasn't in the pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Kevin Samuels, I ain't gonna call him a lame. I ain't gonna call him a dork. I ain't gonna call him a old nerdy ass nigga, because he probably wasn't the smartest guy.
Yeah.
But just that high energy, real skinny dude. And like most of us in the Black community, we all try to find our places. And some of us click up, some of us join gangs, some of us get in the crew, some of us focus on academics, some of us focus on sports, some of us focus on political things.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really feeling it when I first saw Kevin Samuels, man. I really wasn't feeling him, to be honest with you. He was giving game though. I'll give him that. He was giving game because he was like, nigga, if you fat, lose weight, nigga. He was like, how you think
Okay,
you gonna
okay.
get it?
So you called him back when he was talking to males.
Yeah.
See, maybe I stuck, like you said, man, you took off in a sense the mainstream media. I mean, I was seeing No Jumper in the Shade Room and them post about it. So I got on him a little different. So in a sense, when I looked at him and started hearing it, I don't know, kind of like, man, I feel like he wasn't talking for me. I feel like he wasn't talking for the people that I'm around and for the place that I come from. And maybe in a sense, I was seeing it like he wasn't speaking for my group of people. Now he was, and I then came to learn. I truly believe, I don't know. I grew some respect because I felt like he then started like the more that you watch him, I learned that he was speaking for the people. So he wasn't speaking towards no individual group or whatever. He wasn't speaking for me personally, and he was speaking for all of us in a sense. So yeah, you caught him when he was talking to males. Now I caught him when he was when he was handling women.
You met Kevin where everybody else met Kevin at Average at Best video.
Yes.
When Kevin Samuels told a girl she was average at best, that's when he went viral.
Yeah.
He went viral at Average at Best. Hold on, let me post this up right quick and get some more viewers in here. And no, I knew Kevin before that. When he was on the cologne and he was trying to tell guys how to get your swag up, suit up, use this kind of colognes, the toiletries. I'm big on the toiletries. I'm big on style. It didn't take me no time to build my style. I already had it. I just needed the money to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So he was big on that, and that's where everybody met him at Average at Best. But I mean, he got shaped by corporate America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He got shaped by corporate America. So there's the corporate America is a machine, and if you have to go through that machine, you're gonna get processed like everything else that goes into corporate America. And so that nearness to blackness, that essence, that deep hood black shit that people get from being from the hood and growing up in the hood, Kevin didn't necessarily have that hood edge to him. And then he went through the corporate machine, but he still had something black. He still had something essential for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he was giving it to the women the same way he was giving it to the men. But that's what took his market to the next level. And people still can't believe how fast Kevin grew. And it was a whole hustle. And that's where people missed the mark at. It was a whole hustle. Kevin was an image consultant. You know what I'm saying? And from what I hear, his prices weren't cheap. And from what I hear, Kevin was getting that work. He was also a matchmaker. He was an image consultant and a matchmaker. And so what you've seen him do on YouTube was basically advertising for his image consulting and matchmaking business. So, I mean, the boy had it made. People just don't understand how he really compounded and impacted the game, because Kevin had a voice, right? And you would hear him say it sometimes. He was like, I'm creating a space where Black men's voices can be heard, and women don't like that because the Black woman's voice and her identity has been.
It's always been louder.
It's not been louder, to be honest with you, because you got Black women who go home and they listen to their husband. They listen to their man. You got Black women who listen to their fathers and their sons, and they know that they're not the know-it-all, end-all, be-all of word. But the power that politicizing of the Black woman and the propagation of the Black woman gave her a sense of nearness to the dominant society. I relate more financially. I relate more financially and professionally to the white man than I can ever relate to a Black man. That's what some Black women had started to believe, how they were being shaped by propaganda and the politicizing of themselves, but not knowing what was happening to them. So Kevin had so much wisdom that he was literally removing that veil. So when they had to come and see Kevin, they had to come and see themselves. And people, how do you hate somebody so much, but you can't stay away from them? So Kevin was really, in essence, a gift that people won't understand until all his videos keep rolling out. And really what Kevin was saying about the Black family and the Black man's place in the community with his Black woman. That's what they don't want to really talk about. They want to tone police. And don't nobody know about the tone police more than a Black woman. So I can't believe that they were really going left like that on Kevin. But he was about that bag, and his hustle was unstoppable, because some of the main Black women that might have had the worst experience with Kevin signed up for his image consultation and paid their way and really found out what it was really about.
So check it, man. Do you believe, I get, if we're looking at his overall impact, now that he's passed away, do you believe that his impact was more constructive or destructive to our community?
Let's see. Kevin's image was, his image, I want people to move away from, if their conscience will allow them to, is demonic to tone police a person. I had to learn how to be an active listener as a life coach and personal mentor. I had to learn how to be an active listener. Most people in general who don't have to, who are not studied in the area of like social services, law, you just don't learn how to be an active listener. Most people listen to respond and not to hear a person out. And when you can take away all of the tone, and when you can take away all of the defense that he had to put up to protect himself online, when you can take all that away and get down to the grain of what Kevin was saying, Kevin was next to a godsend to the Black community, to be honest to you. Because
do you feel he was dangerous sometimes?
Danger,
because
I feel like,
I agree with what you're saying. Do you feel that it was? I believe that what he
dangerous
spoke
dangerous for Black women, or dangerous for how?
I would say yes. And I say that in a sense only because, man, it's individuals that aren't the term high value. And he didn't term it. It's been a term for a minute. And I guess I asked in a sense dangerous, like for males that aren't necessarily high value, that are walking around, they get that Kevin Samuels rhetoric and they walk around with it. And true, like you said, dangerous to the Black. Well, I would say that. In a sense, because males are walking around like moving and trying to behave and treat women as if they are the high value males that he was speaking on. And like he even told a lot of women, man, I'm talking about 10%, the top 20% of men in a sense. And it's people that aren't in that percentage that I believe try to walk around with the rhetoric. So do you think that it was a little...
Kevin was on his numbers. Like I was a follower. I was not a spectator. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be cautious, especially when it comes to the Black community, when it comes to Black men and women. Be mindful of the difference between speculation, knowledge, and knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everybody has something to contribute. Kevin was spitting numbers on his show every day.
Yeah,
Kevin was like the average Black man, which is when we say the word average, that means we're talking over 51%. When something is at average, it is over 51%. 51% is at average, the number.
Yeah,
Right. So he was saying most black men make $42,000. That's the average pay for the our demographic. It's 42 fucking $1,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Even some of these guys with bachelor's degrees, college degrees,
Getting the
that
same.
average rate of pay, it's fucking $42,000 a year, and that's not bad for a man who's taking care of himself, and that's not bad if you got a black woman making $42,000 and a black man making $42,000. We can get into the breakdown of the pay, male versus female pay, but it's irrelevant to the message that Kevin was trying to give. Kevin was sending a message that, baby, you shooting up here and you really don't know what you're talking about. And the only reason you can't find what you're looking for is because you don't even know what the fuck you really looking for. And I didn't come on here to confuse you. I came on here to put a mirror in front of you to say that this is who you are.
Yeah.
And at your level of where you are, if you're, because he's a matchmaker too, don't forget.
Yeah.
So he got a pool of guys over here that pay him to set them up on dates.
Yes.
Okay, who knew that though? You heard about the image consultation and the image coach, and he's not a coach. He doesn't have a license to do that. Girl, be quiet. You heard about the image consultation business, but he was also a matchmaker. So he's got a pool of men over here that he has been surveying for years. So he knows what men want. And so he's trying to explain to women that men don't care about how much money you make. So what?
Yeah.
Men don't care about your college degree. So what? What's your dress size? How tall are you? How much do you weigh? He's trying to get to the survey of what men are asking for.
Yeah.
But you see, women thought that he was judging them and scaling them, but he was surveying them in comparison for his business as a matchmaker, because certain men are looking for certain measurements. The higher you go up the financial ladder, the more preferences men have, the more options men have. This is what he was saying. The more money a man makes, the more options he has. Okay, if I make $42,000 a year, I can go get that Dodge Charger, but it's going to be a little bit on the expensive side for me. But if you got a man who makes $150,000 a year, he could probably go buy that motherfucker cash out if he saved his money and financially worked it right. He can hop a Benz, he can buy what he wants. So basically what he was doing was surveying them. And if he found them in a place where they just want, their mind wasn't matching their image, and then now I can't really push you into my consulting business, but I mean to my matchmaking business, but we can get you on the image consultant side first so you can see yourself, so you can grow and develop and see who you are and discover yourself. And then I can match you with somebody that you pair well with. And we can make sure that it works out for you, because we're going to make sure that you get what you're looking for, and we're going to make sure that they're getting what they're looking for, and both of you are going to be getting value out of the relationship. See where they,
I like
you
that
see,
spoke on it
you
like
see,
that.
but you see where they missed it at. He wasn't judging them. He was surveying you, baby, trying to sell you his matchmaking business. When he get off here making you look like you look,
Yeah.
when he get off here bringing you out, what he was gonna do was offer you image consultations or offer you the matchmaking services.
Yeah.
And so
I
people,
like that you spoke on that and you expanded the way you did. Because my actual next question is more in the sense how you feel about the conversations he had and the perspective he spoke about in relationships, or as far as relationships go. And I feel like, in a sense, that kind of sums it up. In a sense, like how I would say equally yoked. And I think that that's what he did. But at the same time, if we're going to speak on any type of relationship being equally yoked, you have to look at, what do they say? Opposites attract, in a sense. And so if a girl is attracted to a man because he has money and he can do this and he's a leader and he's powerful and things like that, well, what's the opposite of a leader? A follower, and somebody is going to listen to what they have to say types, if you see what I'm saying. And also in the sense, I mean, how women want a man with money. Well, what's the opposite of money? That's why men don't really care how much money a woman makes or any of her degrees and stuff like that. Because, and truly in the sense, a man with enough money, he don't really care about it. And I feel like that's really what Kevin Samuels tried to do. He was trying to find people that were equally yoked. And like you said, in a sense, put a mirror up in front of men. First, you have to identify yourself and see what scale you're on to even see what would be the opposite to you and what would truly complement you as far as the relationship goes. So I like the fact you touched on a couple of points there. I like that.
He was like, you gonna go back, you're gonna watch the video, you're gonna see yourself, and there's as a black man growing up, if you were not in the pack, if you were not gang, if you marched to the beat of your own drum, you might not have been in sports. You might not have been into the hood. You have to gain almost an extra sense, a sensory perception about what's going on in the world. So when Kevin, they getting silly on Messenger, when Kevin was analyzing people, I'm pretty sure he didn't have some psychoanalytical degree. But because we've been through so much as black men in general, those senses that we have to be able to perceive what's going on around us, it's that we must have, right? So you're gonna sense the aggression before it surfaces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Genetically, you're gonna sense the danger before it occurs.
Yeah.
Vibrationally,
yeah.
You're gonna sense.
And you got to. I mean, innocent man. I mean, like people be talking about the vibes in a sense. I mean, you knew
right.
that. Man, you know there wasn't a vibe whenever before you started dealing with whatever it was in a sense. So.
I feel like when he was telling the woman that you're gonna go back and you're gonna look at this video and you're gonna see yourself. You're combative. You are confrontational. You are. So how can you be offended by fit, friendly, and feminine? Cooperative and friendly? How can terminology like that offend you as a woman? Those are the characteristics of any woman becoming. You know what I'm saying? Whether you see yourself as a lady, or whether you see yourself as a queen, or whether you see yourself as a boss, however the woman sees herself in her own image, how could terminology like cooperative, fit, friendly, and feminine upset you? Those are the characteristics of women and ladies as we know them to this day. Now, I'm not trying to see you from a traditional stance or the modern woman. You throw that language on them and you put the mirror in front of anybody, and that frequency gonna kick whatever it is it's gonna. You know what I'm saying? So he showed them themselves and he sold the business. And Kevin was making a lot of money, man. People just really didn't know that whole scope.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, when I first heard it, like the average at best, I looked at him a little sideways. And I truly grew to respect him as a person. I grew to respect his purpose. I grew to respect the conversations that he had and the things that he was doing for the community.
And
man, rest in peace to the Godfather. That's all I gotta say.
Rest in peace to the Godfather. And I feel like you're about to switch gears. Seriously, rest in peace to the Godfather.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker, sir, Mr. Murphy. Here's the kicker. One of the most valuable commodities that we truly know of, because just like our fiat money, we give value to our fiat money. We determine how much that is worth based off, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to kick with it, it's the algorithm or however you want to build, however that dollars.
Yeah.
There is something so valuable about a man's attention. There is something so valuable about a man's attention. And so when you said like,
at that matter, but yes.
Right. And so when you said like, how do you feel about the guys that they said, well, this is toxic because these guys are going over here and they're watching Kevin and they're taking in all of this bullshit and they don't know what the hell really going on. Well, you see, that's where they got lost in translation at, because at first Kevin's base was made up of men who were trying to learn how to go into trades, learn how to work out, and learn how to make themselves more presentable and make more money to find the women that they like. Yeah. So Kevin was like, well, what kind of woman you want? Well, then he was like, well, if this is the kind of woman you want, this is what you got to do to get her.
This
You know
what
what
you
I'm
gotta
saying?
go be.
So that's what was going on before the woman was interjected into the marketplace. So all of these men were gathering. And then we started to make this sound with Kevin and started to respond when Kevin started kind of quoting me, because I was on stereo when the stereo app first came out. I was on stereo, and I heard Kevin say something that I would say all the time. I would say that the energies of the man and the woman, masculine and feminine, are dynamic, and they balance each other out. When you bring the divine feminine woman together with the masculine man, something dynamic happens that gives us the power that only God has, which is to create. You know what I'm saying? Reproduction or whatever, right? And I says, black man, black woman, we are forever better together. We are always better together. And then when I heard Kevin, because that's how I would end my show every time, my broadcast every time, we are always better together. And when I heard Kevin say that we are always better together, that's when I really started tapping in and listening to him, because I knew that he was listening to me. And I knew that he was creating a space for men to be heard in ways that we are not heard. Not that our women don't listen to us, because we was over here minding our own goddamn business, kicking it with goddamn Kevin Samuels. And all of a sudden, all these women came out of
You
nowhere
got something to say about
because
it.
there is something so valuable about a man's attention that by the time women found out what we were paying attention to, they had to come figure out what the fuck was going on. And in the process of trying to figure out what the fuck we was doing over here, you got lost in translation. And Kevin sold your motherfucking ass some image consultant and put your ass on his motherfucking registry on his matchmaking site. So he was getting money three ways, out from the front and the back, and out the motherfucking wherever. He was getting the money coming in all ways. And so because Kevin was listening to us, and Kevin did create a space where we were being heard, women got drawn into that, and they didn't like the power that he was creating. So ultimately, they tried to use the power that the politicized, propagandized media, mainstream media, gave them, to use the power that mainstream media gave them against Kevin. But it wasn't working because he created a safe place for us to express ourselves first. So that place was safe first. So what you can't do is come in and destroy something that's safe. It's going to be really difficult to do that. And so that's how that went. When we pay attention to it for long enough, the women gonna come, because that's what they gonna do. They gonna do what we do ultimately. So I mean,
let me 180 from Kevin saying, man, like I said, man, I'm telling you, I was hurt when I heard his passing, man. I'm telling you, the Godfather, he was one of a kind. Like you said, man, he was almost a godsend to the community.
As you can see, he gave me some game. I ain't mad.
But to 180 from that, man, how do you feel about them drafting this bill to overturn the Roe v. Wade situation, or the Roe v. Wade decision? Basically taking away women's choice of abortion for whatever reason that they so see fit. How you feel about that?
Okay, as a person who understands the medical market, everything has a market. All right, so men's attention sometimes drives these markets. Like, I don't think women was watching as much porn until they found out that we was watching it. And then that industry blew up like a volcano. But let me just, from a medical market perspective, everybody deserves their privacy. You know what I'm saying? From a medical market perspective, professionally, medically, everybody deserves their privacy and their right to make decisions for themselves medically. Let me just clear that hurdle before I go into the way I think and feel and believe about this, because that is totally separate from how the market works.
I agree with you. I believe that you can have two ideas, and both of them can be just as valid in a sense. So yes, women can also. I mean, I would never say that I'm trying to take away nobody's choice to do whatever it is medically in the sense that they feel would be better for them.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with that.
So black men, black women, black family, let me just clear that off my plate before you try, because screenshot it, screen record it, whatever you do, however you do it. Medically, I believe that anybody has the right to do what they want to do to their bodies, and they are entitled to the privacy that comes with the business of having anything medical happen to you, right? But that's how I feel about that on the market side. Now, if we're going to bring this into our culture, if we're going to bring this into our community, and then if we're going to start talking about this from a family perspective, because our families are our communities, are our cultures. I'm not going to play with you about it.
Yeah.
Roe v. versus Wade. Okay, hold on. Let me clear one more hurdle. All right. From a legal perspective, because law is business as well. Yeah. Anything that we do in America is driven by the almighty dollar. Okay? So don't think that this Roe v. Wade decision had so much to do with human rights in as much as it did with the value of a dollar. If something makes it to the Supreme Court, listen, it must be
money being thrown behind
it's worth something. You know what I'm saying? It ain't some simple Simon as run-of-the-mill civil case. There must be some value associated with, or devaluing associated with anything for it to make it to such a level of exposure. So Roe v. Wade is the right to choose, if you will. Okay, and I believe that everybody has the right to choose under the law legally. Everybody has the right to pursue happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
100%.
That is granted to you by the United States Constitution. That's law, even though it is inalienable by our Creator, right? Our laws had to reflect that as well. So let me just jump over that hurdle. That not only do you deserve to do what you want to do medically and have privacy about it, but you also have your right to choose. Let me hop over that hurdle too. So I got the medical business out of the way. I got the legal part out of the way. Your right to choose is yours. Constitutionally. And I'm not trying to fuck around with you and your life and your liberty and your pursuit of happiness. Because if you fuck with mine, I'm coming behind it with my First and Second Amendment on your motherfucking head. So you fuck with one of them, and I'm going to use my constitutional rights to defend those things, correct? So legally, that hurdle over. Now, culture, community, and family-wise, Roe v. versus Wade ain't never had really shit to do with black people.
That's facts. That's facts.
So let's just go. Let me just hurry up and dive in, because I don't want to whatchamacallit your time. I want every second, because I went a little long about Kevin Samuels. I'm gonna be concise with this. The power of propaganda as it relates to its influence and impact on Black America. Everybody is impacted by capitalism and commercial, okay? I don't give a damn. If you watch that commercial and you see something 3 days later on Facebook, your ass gonna think you thought about something, and then Facebook just popped it up on your ass. But subconsciously, you saw a commercial a week ago. Facebook knew that commercial you saw, and they just slid it on you from this program and this algorithm that made them think that they can hear your motherfucking thoughts. That's how great commercialism is, branding and commercialization. It's such a lucrative, beautiful thing if you want to just talk about how capitalism makes me feel. I mean, it's a necessary evil. I'm sorry. Money is fun. I mean, everybody like money. Don't play. Everybody wants some money. Don't play. So what propaganda has done, and who has been in control of commercialization, capitalization, who's been in control of America's capital, who's been in control of America's commercial markets. So Roe v. versus Wade ain't have a goddamn thing to do with a Black woman's right to choose.
That's facts.
Girl, that shit ain't had nothing to do with your ass. Girl, the motherfucking courts didn't give a fuck about your motherfucking ass. Girl, 100 motherfucking years ago, what the fuck is you talking about a Black woman's any motherfucking thing? We all the fuck we got.
That's facts.
We were all we had. So Roe v. versus Wade was also a necessary evil, to give women the legal protection to perform a medical process that is highly controversial.
Yeah.
Okay. So that legal protection had to be put in place because that is a controversial procedure. Hey, mom, abortion is a controversial procedure. Before a black woman ever had access to abort a baby, before she even knew the benefits or had the luxury or had the medical access, you have to understand what the medical system has done to the black woman to understand what Roe v. Wade really means to her. You have to be, and some of them are in depth familiar with the danger of the American medical system as it relates to the black woman. You hear me?
For sure.
That was one of the arenas, because everywhere there's money, there's an arena. Okay, it's war. Wherever money is being made, somebody gonna fight you for it. Okay, so what had already happened to the black woman medically, historically, what the fuck make you think they're trying to make the world of the motherfucking medical system a better place for you? When you can say here, even in the year of our Lord and Savior 2020 motherfucking 2, you still got black women who die at a higher infant mortality rate than any other race of woman, and they are the most, what do you call this, maternally healthy women that you're gonna meet outside of the Hispanic woman. So how is she dying at a faster rate with her maternal health and fortitude more than any other woman? What the fuck choice do you think you were being given, madam?
Yeah.
Ma'am? My queen? So Roe v. Wade, if I'm talking about my family and I'm talking about my community and I'm talking about my culture, them teenage white girls was the ones who had to get all these motherfucking abortions starting out because they had motherfucking secrets to keep.
Yeah.
Them teenage white girls were the only ones who could go and get an abortion. So you don't hear about teenage pregnancy in the white community until they made the motherfucking show Teenage Mom and blew the shit up like it was such a cool motherfucking thing, when that's been going on for black girls who couldn't afford or had the knowledge to afford an abortion in the early 60s and 70s. You didn't hear about a young black woman going to the abortion clinic. You heard about Becky going to getting an abortion because you're going to college. You heard about Becky going to get an abortion because your dad's the mayor, and there's no fucking way. That's what Roe v. Wade was for. That was the controversial medical procedure that had to be kept a secret, but the numbers weren't looking right. You understand what I'm talking about? Now we're talking about something else that's been going on for a long time that we all know in the year of our Lord and Savior 2020, 2040, for those of us that will live to see the pendulum swinging in the other direction. Birth rates, abortion rate, birth rates, right? So it started looking kind of obscure because those numbers were faltering on that teenage white girl had the highest abortion rate
So you
at
saying
birth.
this recent? I ain't think about that. You're making a case for this recent little overturning of this
It's
decision.
embarrassing. Listen, an abortion was nothing for you to be proud of. That was a big secret to be kept in that motherfucking white family. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
You will never hear. That's why the legal protection had to be put in place. So how are we going to get this out here without having to take the brunt of this hit? We need somebody to get out there because some of these men is not finna go for this. When you start talking about the choices and the power of abortion, the reason why it got controversialized like that, because these little white girls was real hot in the draws, my nigga. These little white girls was getting pregnant way before I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I had a predominantly black family
Man,
and
they was getting
predominantly black
pregnant
school.
13, 14,
I'm not
15.
judging nobody. I'm not judging nobody. But listen, little white girls are way more sexually liberated than little black girls are. Just because little black girls know how to dance and twerk and all of that, that doesn't mean they are sexually liberated. Okay, I mean, we talking about getting it in to the point where you got pregnant at 12. Okay, some things happened. There are some cases where girls were needing the they needed the procedure. But I'm telling you about this propaganda and how our women got put on the battle line fighting for a cause, and they didn't even understand the psyche behind what they were really fighting for. I got an abortion when I was 11 years old. I got an abortion when I was 13 years old. And it was the most dehumanizing experience that I had. And now I want to make sure that I fight for what happened to me, but I can't get out here and take the hit out. So let me make this about all women.
Yeah.
But like I said, a black woman in the 1960s and 70s, coming out of the 50s and 60s, when our families were homeowners at a higher rate than they are now, landowners at a higher rate, married at a higher rate, producing families at a higher rate than we are now. A black woman going into that, a black girl going into that abortion clinic, it was not something that we were. And then Margaret Sanger really brought that Planned
I ain't
Parenthood on
gonna
in there.
lie. I was about to bring her up because
Also,
you're making a rather strong case for number one. They're trying to overturn this decision because white women infertility rates are starting to rise, and they're basically saying, look, if a white woman
infertility
gets pregnant, we just want you to go ahead and have the baby.
their infertility rates have that's been happening to them long before you heard about it.
Exactly. And
When you hear people say, "Oh, we gotta speak truth to power." No, power knows the motherfucking truth. You don't.
that's
They
fact.
already knew their projected birth rates, dude.
Yeah.
And those where they were putting fertility clinics in white neighborhoods, predominantly white neighborhoods. We're going to put a doctor over here that's going to help you have a baby, that's going to help you understand your fertility and
And then
help you
they're
have a
putting
baby.
abortion clinics in the black neighborhoods to control it. So
Oh, but
that's
hold on. We doing this. Wait, now, hold on. We doing this for women's rights. We're giving women a right to choose. Well, then explain to me why you have more fertility rates per capita in your
in white
neighborhoods.
neighborhoods. Yes.
Can you make that make sense? But no, let me distract this black woman, politically empower her, propagandize and politicize her, and bring her over here with me, because she gonna stand on this motherfucking front line and take all these hits about this abortions before me.
Yes.
And then now, who is the scapegoat for teenage pregnancies? The black girl, Maury, Jerry Springer, old black people in them teenage pregnancies.
Yeah.
The reality of it is women coming out of the 40s and 50s was getting pregnant at 14 and 15. Coming out of the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, it wasn't unheard of for women to be having babies at their age of conception when they were not considering them women when they were able to conceive. I mean, by law, they were not considering them women. But this was not something so uncommon and not something so unheard of. The black woman coming out of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the black woman was the most sexually conservative woman that you were going to meet in the United States of America. She was one of the most sexually conservative women demographics.
That's right.
So you're talking about, I'm not a slut shamer. I don't have a problem with hoes or whores. You know what I'm saying? Women who sell women of the night, I don't have an opinion. Yeah. Women who are sluts and who like to have lots of sex, I don't have a problem with that. Because guess what? Men do the same motherfucking thing. And I would be remiss if I sit here and talk about a woman who loose. Because you got niggas out here worse than that. You know what I'm saying? And so that the way the woman was politically positioned to take the hit, and then now you was fighting for your rights, but no,
give
really,
me just
you was
1 second. Antoinette, I see you trying to come up in here. Maybe one of these days, not this live, but honestly, I've been plotting on the questions I got for you.
I'm sorry, Antoinette. This is a man's conversation. I mean, it be like that.
Yeah. I got something for you though. When I get off here, I might call you. We can chop it up. But yeah, truly, I guess my last question as far as
I know that's a lot to kind of digest. That's a
yeah,
lot of perspective to kind of digest if you never had to see it like that. And that is why the black man will always be your first and best line of protection. So when I see my woman going out there, because that was a war. When you start talking about abortions, my brother, that's warfare. People gonna fight about a baby. People will kill over a baby.
yeah.
People will steal a baby. People will sell a baby. And then we're not even going to talk about the value of the fetus. We're not going to talk about when you start coming into the future, how much those fetuses, if you can get a whole head out intact without having to crush the skull, and you can get that whole head of that fetus out.
I was gonna speak on it, but that
If you,
topic
if
is
you,
so deep and so dark. It almost goes into conspiracy. Like even
oh,
bringing up
over,
and having the
this
markers
is
saying
this
it's
is not
conversation.
this is not conspiracy. If
Yeah,
you
I
can get
agree.
a whole uncrushed fetus, 3 4 month old uncrushed skull out, that's millions of plus dollars that you
No,
can sell that part for.
I
Those
know
are
it. I know it.
those are stem cells. The cells that are generated to start life, those are stem cells in there.
No, I know.
Those that tissue, that human tissue, the fetus, you don't even know how much $1 trillion market that was. And the United States is not one of these topics that is just all out there in your face about it, because you don't even know they're making money off the back end and at the front door and at the motherfucking back door. And they're going to charge you to come in here and they're going to put some shit over here. That's not all going to research, and everybody doesn't bury their fetus.
That's
So,
let me see, man. To get off of that, I don't even too much care to talk about the Black Lives Matter uh, uh, president. I don't care to get into the women, nor do I even care to get into whatever the mission statement of the Black Lives Matter is. I want to talk about the Black Lives Matter money. Um,
yeah,
man,
let's
$90
get to the
million
money.
dollars.
Let's get
$90
to the money.
million was blown on luxury and non-luxury houses. Um, they put maybe it meant like 14 million or something like that in the stocks and bonds. They say, well, truly, this came from the tax report, so that's really what they did with it. They had a couple of parties. I don't know if you know, man. They
No,
paid Drake
they
to
didn't
come.
have a couple of parties. They didn't have a couple of parties. They had a whole bunch of parties, and I
Yeah,
might have been at one of them.
yeah, they had Drake
I
trying
might
to
have.
come perform at one thing. I
I
think they paid
don't
Drake
know.
400,000 to come perform.
I don't know that
Um,
Black Lives Matter money. They stretch that shit in all kinds of ways. I ain't.
and honestly, man, thinking about the mission statement and really what they could have did with $9 million as far as what it was supposed to be.
93 million or 90 million?
93. It was 93. I'm using 90, but yeah, it was 93. I'm trying to round down and I'm trying to give them a little something. uh, man, do you think, man, what could have really been done as far as, man, police reform and as far as man, giving some
I don't believe that the police can be reformed. But go ahead, go. And you're definitely not.
truly,
You're,
man,
you're definitely
police
not gonna.
is the biggest gang in America.
You're not gonna
Probably
change.
they're really the most dangerous gang because they do what they want to and get away with it.
You're
Um,
not gonna. You're not gonna change them by taking money away from them. You could change them quicker by paying them more. Because if you start paying them more, then their qualifications, their standards are gonna get raised higher. And if those standards get raised to a place where everybody can get in, everybody can be a doctor, everybody can be a lawyer.
yeah,
There are some fucked up doctors out there that have done harm to black women. There are some fucked up lawyers out there that have done harm to the black community, prosecutors and judges. But if all of them could get into that system and pass that standard,
yeah,
because the standards are real now. The standards
I,
are actually raised now. Now, but that's a whole different conversation. You're trying to follow the dollar behind Roe v. versus Wade. Follow the dollar behind those fetus, the prices of those fetus. Follow the dollar behind it and realize how that white woman, the whole time she out here, had you thinking you was fighting for your rights. Maybe she was protecting and
they was
undergirding her
they was
legacy.
playing games. But to the money, man, do you think that that kind of financial irresponsibility that just those women use that 93 million for, do you think that is what's keeping the black community man financially disenfranchised? Because I can
Okay.
think of so much more money I mean, man, take away the police reform, take away all that. Man, it's just so much more they could have did for our communities with 93 million. And that type of do you, man, just for the question, do you think that's what's keeping our community so financially disenfranchised? Just that
Okay.
irresponsibility in general.
So I'm trying to make sure it ain't no hurdle I need to clear before I talk about this. Because this shit about to make me go all the way in on something, and I just checked the time too.
I
And so I
ain't
want
tripping,
to
man. You got till 10 o'clock. I got to be somewhere at 10, but you good till then.
I still want to be respectful of your time, and I want this to be valuable. And I
Yeah.
don't want people to be so. I want people to tap in, and I want them to tune in, and I don't want them to be so easily turned off because even when you start getting black on black people, they start getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's publicly too. A lot of black people publicly, when you start getting black on them in public, they start getting uncomfortable. They have to shift and fidget and get into a place where they're still going to be satisfactory to the dominant society while still using their ability to be black to be able to navigate blackness, but they're going to make sure that they shift and fidget and give themselves enough space to be acceptable by the dominant society. I don't play that shit. Okay, I will give you silence before I give you ambiguity.
Yeah.
I'm about picking a motherfucking side.
Yeah.
I hate people who can't pick a side. Pick a side. Black family, this is not the time for us to be trying to politicize and think that this system honors, respects, and is giving us the value of it. You're not getting the value out of this for what it is worth. You're not getting the value out of these platforms. You're not getting the access. You're not getting the power. You're not getting the respect, the dignity out of anything. It's like it's always a squeeze for us. So let's not get it twisted for those people when blackness start rubbing up on you and you start fidgeting and shifting and you got to make sure that you make the dominant society comfortable enough for you to be able to blend and still want to navigate this over here black. One day you're not going to have that option. And hopefully hopefully you'll be in the land of the living. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you don't have to die to understand that you never had that option and that you were black in the first place. So your proximity to anything other than that was just a dishonor to your own identity. Not in a way that, not in a demeaning way. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to be satisfactory on all. You don't have to be accepted by everybody to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So, if Einstein would have wanted to be accepted by everybody, he would have never formulated, because there were so many people that were just going against everything that he said, that if he would have had that nearness to dominance, then he would not have become the genius that he was. So I don't have no hurdles to clear about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was an organization. It wasn't our sentiment. So you have to separate the sentiment from the organization.
I agree.
There was our families, our communities, our culture. How many, when niggas was out there holding up signs that said, "I am a man," how much motherfucking money did them niggas get?
Yeah.
When them niggas was walking off their jobs, going on strikes and saying, "No, I am a man." I just want to pose that question to you, because that started out as a sentiment. That sentiment turned into a statement. That statement turned into a political that turned into a political slogan. "I am a man," struck the world because of what happened to them, right? How much $90 motherfucking million did them niggas get when they was walking off their jobs as trash man and Martin Luther motherfucking King type shit?
So as far as the sentiment, because obviously it's a problem with the police, man, you think we was just, as a community, we were just trying to throw money at the problem instead of really get to the root and dig out how we actually fix and deal with the problem at hand?
You think they really funneled $93 million into an organization because they care about black people?
I don't know who was donating. I was in the streets. If you see me, I was out there. I would say, man, I marched for a little bit. I have also, I've written letters to mayors. I sat down and went to citizens be heard, and man, shit, I've been on the news for talking bad at city council meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't believe in that the money was ever going to fix the problem to begin with. But so I hear what I do believe that the people that funded it did think. I'll say black people. I'll say the black people I know that was throwing whatever they had into that organization. I believe they thought if we throw enough money at this problem, it's going to be fixed.
If they really wanted to get with it about that, we would have that conversation would have been about reparations. That conversation would have been about creating a Marshall Plan and giving Black Americans we would have been a protected class under the law, okay?
Yeah.
If they were really serious about that conversation and what happened, if they were really serious about the sentiment, how do you know when they're not serious about the sentiment that turns into a statement, that turns into a political slogan? How do you know when they're not serious? Because they got to find somebody to put out front to take the hit after they get done making all of their motherfucking money. Who did they use? Who did they use?
The three black women that led the organization.
They used black women and they used the LGBTQ community. Now, I'm gonna put a hard stop right there. They used the black woman and they used the LGBTQ community.
That's facts.
And I don't like to put things juxtaposition to each other. If something is beautiful, then it is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If there is a deep sound and sentiment that our community is making, Black America is known for that. Yeah. We are a passionate people, spirited, we got soul. When we cry, you're gonna hear it, whether you like it or not. If we have something to cry about, you're gonna hear it. And you can try to turn our cry into whatever you want to make yourself feel more human. And you can try to take our pain and politicize it in a way that makes you feel more human. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say it plain and simple. Your birth rates are still tanking. Hold on. At the end of the day, it ain't about your birth rates, and it's not about population control, and it ain't about all of this politicizing that people tried to make it about. It was a cry. And anytime a Black man gets made to look like a human, that is a loss for white supremacy. Anytime a Black man gets made to look like a human and he is a victim, that is a loss for white supremacy, and the veil is being taken down more and more every time that happens. So I can't have these motherfuckers out here having Black men think that something's gonna happen to us if something happens to them. Y'all better start talking about that police reform stuff. Jim Clyburn. South Carolina, Jim Clyburn said, stop sloganizing because Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. I am a man. I am a man. Stop sloganizing. Sloganizing kills. Nah, bitch. White supremacy kills. Nigga. I just had to take my hat off for that moment because I felt that. Because how are we going to ensure that this power that they are galvanizing from all around the world does not disrupt this system that I have created to benefit me? Yeah. You don't get to win in my house. You know what I'm saying? So all kinds of switches got flipped, and let's create an organization, and look, we gave $90 million. People from all around the world were donating to this Black cause, and Black America once again was being galvanized in a way that struck fear in the hearts of white America once again, like we do every time when it is time for us to shift the moral compass of this shithole, when it is time for us to break the psyche of those who have severed their consciences and dehumanized us in so many ways, what they've done to us in the healthcare system, banking, education system, all of the things that they've done to us. They're reminded about that when we begin to galvanize power, because what are you going to do to us? Because you, Black America, don't know half of what this country has done to you. In the 20th century, we ain't got to talk about slavery. We can talk about what they did to your ass yesterday on motherfucking Wall Street. We don't have to have a long track record and take it all the way back to understand that we are going to politicize her. We are going to wedge her issues. We are going to make her issues. Our issues are her issues. This is women's issues. And then now the women's and the LGBTQ community get to come together and galvanize. This is where I knew it was wrong. Black woman, Black family, community, man, and culture. This is why your Black man will forever be your best line, first line of protection. This is why your Black man will forever be your best first line of protection. This is warfare. When one of your people get killed, let's bring this back down a few notches so everybody can understand what the fuck I'm talking about. On some gang shit, okay? One of the Crips, one of the GDs came over here and they killed one of the vice lords in the hood. Okay, y'all know we getting back, okay? We just need to come together and we need to make sure that we come to a consensus and agree that this is what we want to do. And then are we going to strike back or are we going to heal ourselves? What are we going to do? Do we have green lights? Can we go air this bitch out? Okay, well, this is how we're going to do it, right? So that's what they were worried about, that backlash. Yeah. We're not worried about that backlash. This is why when I saw Black men dying, and the first thing that was happening after Black men died, when the sentiment started striking at the heart, started pricking the hearts of men, because I'm a man. I'm a Black man first. Then I'm a man. Okay, I'm a Black man first, and then I'm a man. So I'm not gonna say anything that impacts all men don't impact me. I'm not gonna say because white men are men too. I mean, you know. Yeah. But when that heart started to get pricked like that, and that sentiment really started to sink in, and I started following the dollar. When y'all started, we're doing diversity programs at our job. Your diversity hires were LGBT.
Nonsense.
Wait.
I was trying not to cuss on this bitch. I'm sorry.
Murphy, their diversity programs were hiring LGBTQ and women were their diversity hires higher per capita. Go look at these diversity hiring statistics. If I can kill two birds with one stone, I'm gonna do it. I got a woman and she's Black. I got a double minority hire. Yeah. Don't get no Black tranny. I got a triple, quadruple motherfucking hire. Mm-hmm. You can't say we don't got diversity in this motherfucker. We got a Black tranny back there. What you talking about? Yes, you can't say we racist over here. Oh, we got a Black woman executive over here.
Basically, how? The tokens. They use the tokens.
I always follow the dollar because that's how they protect their systems with the money. Okay? And so when it looks like we're about to get that financial victory, they got to do something, because then we become self-sustaining and we don't need them, and then we can really galvanize our families. And no, bitch, you ain't finna galvanize no family because your issues are our issues and we are women. No, bitch. How does a Black man die? How does a Trayvon Martin die? How does a Freddie Gray die? How does a George Floyd die? How does an Ahmaud Arbery die? And your corporate response to diversity hire is an LGBT candidate or a Black woman per capita over 50, 60% of the time they were your choice. How does a Black man die? And your reaction and response is to hire the complete opposite of him. Make it make sense. How are you benefiting off of the death of a black man? How I came to that consensus was I studied, I started looking at what these companies were doing, and I had ears on the inside. And I can look at your numbers. If I want to find something out about you, I'm gonna find it. I'm an administrator. I'm an administrator. I don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna tell you this, because truly I wanna take a step to the other side real quick, because man, we discussed white supremacy.
We really didn't discuss white supremacy.
I mean,
we discussed how a black man dies and power was galvanized, and the black man didn't even benefit off of the power that was galvanized. The black man didn't even benefit from it.
I would say we discussed a couple of the weapons they used. Even in the sense we were talking about the Roe V Wade thing, and to say, man, it's always putting black, or that whole feminist movement was putting black women at the forefront, take shots and kick men out the home. I want to talk about the culture of our community though, because I ain't gonna, man, my number one thing, I say this anywhere, I don't care what no white man does to us, because we do each other way worse. You can go, man.
You have no clue.
I know black people. I know black people that'll tell you they not finna hire no black man. I know a black man that'll tell you, when I call him on my phone, he gonna tell you, I'm not finna hire no black man. But for what?
Okay.
And I say this, I believe that our culture and our community is much more destructive to itself than any outside force you can do. And that's really, I guess, would you say that the culture and communities that we have today is built upon a negative foundation?
We have a, first off, black family. Listen and hear me motherfucking well. Because I know my voice, my allergies almost took me out this weekend. I think the white man sprinkled some pollen on my bed or something. I don't know. You know, they're crazy. They'll do anything. So check it out. We have, not only do we have a history, but we have a heritage, okay? They get you so caught up on the history, you don't even know your heritage. You know what I'm saying? The history is what they tell you about us. Your heritage is those things that are passed down from your family to your family through your family. You have a heritage, black family. So whose fault it is that you don't know what your heritage is? It could be your family's fault. It could be the fact that we know that lineage works by way of a man. In order to have a tree, you got to have a motherfucking seed. If you take the producer of the seed out, then the motherfucking lineage starts getting like, where are we? What are we doing?
That's fact.
The programming of the nuclear family. If you know anything about biology, which I love science, you know that the nucleus of a cell is the nucleus of the cell. At the core of a nucleus, and that there's that atomic level. If something goes wrong in the nucleus of the cell, the entire cell dies, right?
Fact.
These components have to be in place, right? To keep this nucleus in place, to keep this organism alive. The nucleus is the key, right? All the way down to the atomic particles, right? So if I take a major component out of this nucleus, it's like when you poke the yolk of an egg, motherfucker, it's gonna dissolve. We ain't gotta worry about that motherfucker. No egg, ain't no chicken hatching out of that motherfucking egg. We ain't gotta worry about no root. We ain't gotta worry about no motherfucking chicken coming home to roost out of that motherfucking egg, because we done took that motherfucking, ain't nothing roosting up out of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Believe it. There's so much propaganda. There's so much politicization in the propaganda that I had to get down to, when I say I'm an administrator, I ain't just talking about paper. You got to follow the dollar. When you find out how valuable we are to this system, and where's that value going? And where's that power that we have generated? Where's it going?
See, again, I couldn't care less where it was going, because if we get paychecks, and the first thing that we doing is going and giving it to a white man instead of a black-owned business.
Hold on, I almost said the wrong thing. I'll say something more, still very, very provocative. Still very, very, very provocative, but a little bit more socially acceptable. I don't give a fuck if they go buy prostitutes and spend all of their fucking money on escorts for the rest of their lives. I don't care what they do. What reparations means to Black America has nothing to do with what they will do with
I
it.
don't care nothing about no reparations because we not trying to repair ourselves. I'm telling you
You
right now,
see,
man,
that's not.
I believe the Black community today is more destructive than anything the white man. I believe, man, they could do us like they was doing the Black folks in South Africa back when Mandela was there. Tell you, I don't believe.
I
I'm
believe
telling
that
you,
if you
if we allow them to come in our communities and do that, we destroyed ourselves. Because we should already, we already know who the enemy is. So if we not moving like we know who the enemy, man, we killing our man, we doing it to ourselves. I mean, if they come in and do that, and we not sitting here protecting our community, and we not protecting them, when we are doing it to ourselves, we're destroying ourselves. I don't care nothing what the white man doing. If we gonna sit here and say the white man is the enemy, then we also gotta sit here and be real. Nigga, we not doing nothing for our families. We're not doing nothing for our community, no way. And I say this as far as the culture. We can offer. I mean, when you walk outside into a predominantly Black neighborhood,
the culture,
that's what I mean.
the culture. You know
Yeah.
do you know what the fuck our culture has done for America? See, you got to follow the dollar.
America now, nigga, what is our culture doing to us? That's the question.
Okay.
What is our culture doing to the Black? What's the culture doing to the Black kids going to Southside Oak Cliff right now?
Our culture is in part American. We are Black Americans, so America is a part of our culture. We are Black American.
We niggas in America. Hell not, man. Nah, we first thing first. I take away Black.
You don't know who.
I take away Black. I don't call no Africans niggas type shit because it wasn't no African. It was niggas that they had in the what's it called, the breeding farms. It wasn't no African.
Let me address your question.
It wasn't no African that made it through American slavery. They bred niggas when they brought us over here. So I don't look at us like a now you can say we niggas in America. I don't look at myself like no Black American. I don't look at no Black American like, nah, nigga, you a nigga over here. If your ancestors was over here and we slaves, then nigga, it wasn't no Black person. Didn't no Black person come out of slavery. Didn't no Black person come out no breeding farm. It was niggas that they raised on that farm.
Okay. I mean, 1 point for white supremacy with you. They did their job. I mean, white supremacy did their job as far as it's concerned about your psychological understanding about who Black Americans are. You simply don't know who we are. I mean, like I said, your perspective has been washed out by history, by what you've been told. And if you are willing to look at a person who is sick and not understand the symptoms of their sickness and not understand first it started as a symptom and then it grows into a sickness. You know what I'm saying? If I introduce something to your body, if I introduce a poison to your body, okay, this is what happened to Black community culture, family. If I introduce a poison into your body, initially, if I'm microdosing the poison to you, you're not going to be affected by this maybe for the first year of this poison that I'm giving you. The second year, you're going to start getting symptoms, and you're not going to. Those symptoms are not going to be more enough for you to pay attention to. By the time I got you sick, I got you good and dead. I got you where I want you. So if you're willing to make the sickness of niggadom the picture of Black America, that's a psychological self-hate. And that, my friend, has been politicized and propagated into your psyche for you to believe about that. And so I ain't trying to be
I would say this. I'm not taking away the symptoms. I would never, in a sense, disregard what they did to us.
You have to understand, you have to understand that the situations and circumstances, put that shit to the side. Everybody got motherfucking situations and circumstances, okay? Yes. Put that shit to the motherfucking side. You have to understand the power that we had to create the worlds and build the worlds that we are renowned for building as the mothers and fathers of civilization. You see, if you understand your heritage, then you are not going to be disturbed by your history. And when you see and look at your warrior class, because that's who you're talking about. You're talking about our warrior class. And when I talked about that cell, and I talked about that nucleus of that cell, okay? I talked about that nucleus of that cell in this forming this organism, the nucleus of the cell. And I said that if you poke the yolk of the egg, then what happens? It just dissolves like this. And then you got the nuclear family starting to feel around, and they don't know where they are anymore because the nucleus of the cell has
So
been
you telling me
destroyed.
in 2022 we don't know the position of where we are right now? And I'm saying
Okay.
this because listen, man, like I said, man, I can go around to some black folks and they'll tell you, man, white folks ain't the enemy no more. And I'm saying,
when I tell you, they don't even know what the fuck they talking about. And when I tell you,
oh, I agree with you.
when I tell you that there are still, when I tell you there are still 100-year plans that are still being paid out in the United States government right now. 100 years ago, they wrote something and they put the money up for that shit 100 years ago, and that money is still being spent on something that they proposed to be done up until the time now. They have 100-year plans, they have 25-year plans, they have 10-year plans. So when you talk about niggerdom, and then you, okay, so what you do to me when you talk about our warrior class like that, and you don't talk about what happened to our warrior class, when you talk about the attack that the
I don't
nuclear black
believe in what
family,
happened. I don't believe you a real
when
warrior.
you say, you
if
mean
we
to
got
tell
talk
me,
about what happened to him.
what you're telling me is, he says, you mean to tell me we don't know better now than we knew then? Obviously we don't. Obviously we don't own as many homes as we did per capita in the 1950s.
I agree.
If we knew what the fuck now what we were doing versus then, black woman, if you knew what the fuck, sorry, excuse me, if you knew so much better, then why was our home ownership rate in our family, in our marriages higher in the 1950s than they are now? Because your cell, the nucleus of your cell, either they poisoned it or they poked it out or they took an element out. You don't understand the war that is being held against you. You can see all of the problems inside of the communities, inside of the concrete jungles that you are forced to live and be confined within, and see all of the problems going on around you.
But it's much
outside
bigger.
of that, you can't see what caused the generation of that problem.
I agree.
Because it takes two to tango. Some men are abusive in relationships.
Yeah.
Some men are abusive in relationships. Some women stay and survive through abuse, and when they come out of it, they never knew what they went through until they get out of it.
I agree.
We ain't even out of it. There are some of us who do understand what we went through, and when we get out of it, that is when the eyes are going to open more, when they come to the understanding of what we were actually in and what actually happened to us. So you can talk about the symptoms, and you can downgrade the warrior class and say they out here killing our warrior class. If something happens, I'm going to be brief about it. If something happens to where the attention of our warrior class, our vice lords, GDs, Crips, Bloods, in jail and out of jail, in the belly of the beast and in the motherfucking streets, if something happens to jar the conscience of them to turn their focus to where it belongs, that's dangerous for America, for our warrior class to be brought into conscious awareness of what the circumstances have been created for them to be in the situations that they're in. Yeah, they enjoy it. Boy, they enjoy gangbanging and selling drugs, and they enjoy the fast life. And every culture, we are American because hell, we ain't live nowhere else. Goddamn. My family didn't immigrate over here. As far as I know, we've been over here since the last time we remember. You know, somebody came over here and woke up a slave.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And to that, I'll say this, man. A black woman asked me not too long ago, where are the men that are supposed to be leading and protecting in the community, the women and children in the community? And I had to give that question some thought. And I thought, man, protection is something that you do before anything happens. Like putting up cameras or buying weapons and training the sim, man, that's what you do before anything happens. Man, what is something that this warrior class can do to truly start protecting our communities then? Because if that is the warrior class, let's educate them on something. Let's give them actionable steps that they can actually take in a sense to because they understand the problems that their women are having. they might not know how to fix it, but they understand, man, what's going on in our communities. And it's like, man,
there's so much active trauma. There's so much active trauma that they've gone through. Fatherless homes, the desire and the need to have the nearness to masculinity that you don't get in your house because you live with your mama, and you have a desire for a nearness to masculinity. It's a thirst that gets created, and then the image and the concept of masculinity gets mutated into something that it is not, right? If you develop a thirst or a hunger for something and you get fulfilled in that, you're gonna want more of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say you can use God, you can use drugs, you can use knowledge, you can use sex, you can use whatever. When you create a desire for something, when you create a need for something, and you find access to your need, we can't even talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs for these guys, man.
I know.
The bottom shelf, the food, shelter, and motherfucking the three basic things that you need. Yeah, the three basic things at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy. So they don't even have the basic building blocks. And we want to talk about somebody who's been socioeconomically, I don't like the word disenfranchised, oppressed, socioeconomically oppressed, and don't even know what the fuck happening to them. What do they need to do? What does our warrior class need to do? First off, you can't even understand and begin to unpack your genetic trauma because of your active trauma. First, you got to respect your mind first. It starts with the mentality first. It starts with the mentality. So people want to make you the problem. You go to the house, in the house that you live, in your woman's house, in your mama house. You the problem in her motherfucking house. You the problem in your motherfucking woman's life. You go out in the streets. You the problem to the motherfucking police. You turn the motherfucking TV on. You the problem in the motherfucking movie. You the bad guy over here. You the motherfucker over there. You're the nigger over here. And then for you not to be able to, the reason you can't perceive it and you can't see the way the propaganda bonanza has been run amok on your mind, spirit, heart, and identity, the reason why you can't pull on the strings of your heritage and feel the prayer of your ancestor and respond to God in the manner that a man can construct his family and his community and the world around him. God put us on this motherfucker as stewards. We're supposed to be subduing the earth because this motherfucker out of control. And we're supposed to be, whoa, cut them trees down over there. Oh, it's too many birds over here. Y'all shoot them motherfuckers over here. Oh, we got a rat problem over here. Y'all poison them. Too many snakes. Subdue the earth. That's what you're supposed to be doing first. Working on being a steward of you are owner of the motherfucking earth, nigga, and you don't even know that. Because you too busy trying to have territory in the hood and you ain't got no ownership in that. You're territorial in places where you ain't even on the lease.
That's fair.
You're territorial. You're defending a territory that doesn't belong to you. So when you say niggas, you just give them that motherfucking cherry pie just like they like it. You done served it up warm with a little scoop of ice cream on the side. Some of these motherfuckers like coffee with a lot of sugar and creamer in it. You just gave it to them when you did that. Because these niggas, when we use the terminology niggas, it's not terminology, and you can't tell me it's not. When we use the terminology niggas, it's the mentality.
I agree. I do agree with that.
They were programmed to follow that trend. They was programmed to group up and get together. That was the only way these niggas knew to survive, especially the ones who didn't have fathers in their home. They knew that their only way to survive, that's what they think they're doing. They think they're protecting their communities by taking territory and making money. The only way that they've learned how to make money because of what the education system has done to them years over years over years over years. You want to tell the black woman that she is the most educated. You want to tell the black woman that she's this. You want to tell the black woman that she's that. And I'm going to tell you something, because don't nobody know the black woman like the black man, and don't nobody know the black man like the black woman. And so everybody want to tell us something about us, but we know each other better to our cores than anything that the silver screen can put in front of us, a media flash, a propaganda can do to us. We know who the fuck we are. Personally, interpersonally, we know who we are. It's not our fault the way the world thinks about us and the standards that have been forced on us that we can't overcome because we don't have the elements and the tools to be able to perform, right? So what can a warrior class do? It starts with mentality. Do that motherfucking thing that you do in your mind, that idea that you have, that you really can't talk to your niggas about, because nigga, that's some weird shit, nigga, whatever, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Talk about that motherfucking book you read. Talk about the research you do. Talk about the business idea you do. Talk about the inventions. Start talking about ideas. Because individually, like your fingerprints, you have an individual ideology. You have an individual identity, idea, ideology. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No,
And so we have been, I won't say we've been programmed, but we have been encouraged to have, if you don't fit, then you get uncomfortable. If you don't fit in, if you're not accepted. The streets don't know nothing about that nigga. The hood, we ain't sign off on that. We don't know nothing about that nigga, man.
Yeah.
Bro, okay, that's all fine. That's all good. Where are your ideas? What is your identity? What is your ideology? Because that is the reason why your DNA and your life trajectory, they had to confuse you. You're great. You're excellent. You are the mothers and fathers of civilization. They did it again to the black woman again. The black woman has the mitochondria DNA. It goes back to the first human. It's found in all black women. When you started doing a black woman like that, my antennas went up. Where was your antennas, Black America? Where was your antennas, black woman, when they put that target on your back and you thought you knew better than a black man? I grew up in a house with my father and my mother, and I am very proud of that. And they did an excellent job despite all of my flaws and failures. My parents did an excellent job. My father protected our home in ways that I didn't even know that I was being protected until I became a grown man. I didn't know what the fuck my dad was doing. He had layers and layers of protection. So you talking about how can we be proactive to make these attacks stop happening? You can't stop the attack. You can't stop the attack. The attack is not if, it's when the attack will happen. Okay? So unless you wanna, we ain't even there to where we getting all the way up there where we are stopping the attack from happening. We ain't up there to where we are hunting the problem, where we are seeking to find exactly where and who the problem is and eliminating the threat. Okay? You'll never be able to stop the attack, because that's why we have free will. That's why, you know, there's a few people who can see a few steps ahead, but you cannot stop the attack, right? So what our warrior class can do, all I want you to do, I'm gonna give you 3 motherfucking things. I don't want you to go read. I don't need you to be hitting these frequencies and levels of intelligences and intellects that are built to break the backs of white supremacy and intimidate the status quo and bring us into a deliverance and whatchamacallit of the Messiah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to push you into that. Our warrior class, gang, thug, young niggas, gangsters, whatever you want to call them, niggas, whatever you want to call them, the problem, whatever you want to call them. They built so much motherfucking statistics on us and built so much negative psychology around our communities while they were building abortion clinics in our communities and building fertility clinics in their communities. They were documenting our issues and problems as psychological disadvantages while they were studying themselves, learning how to make their minds function better. While they were healing themselves, they were just documenting all of our pain and making our pain our problem while they were healing their problems while not giving us the tools.
Yeah.
So when I had my brain date with my my high level little black little group, and we had a doctor and we had a psychologist there. Well, what can we do? The same question you asked. I says, well, you can start studying the medical problems of your people and start writing your own medical journals that are specifically, particularly Black American medical journals that are pertinent to our issues.
Us, 100%.
You know how our diet got taken care of us, and we started getting fat. And you look over in Africa, and the obesity levels in Africa are not up here, and then you get over here and bitches is big, and they like, girl, you look good, girl. Your big ass. You look, some of them girls, and I tell them all the time, don't discount that big coochie because you don't even know. But how our diets got taken away from us, you know what I'm saying? I would tell my warrior class, everybody, and you know you're in a warrior class when everything you do, people want to make you the bad guy. They want to make everything you do wrong. They want to put you in the position of a nigga. You know what I'm saying? They want to treat you like a nigga. First off, think about your identity. You can't embrace it because you ain't even thought about it, because you're too worried about what the world around you thinks about you, and you're too busy trying to be accepted that your identity has become a commodity. Because now I control what you buy, how you think, what you think is cool, what you don't think is cool. You buy J's because that's what the fuck I sell you, because that's what I give you access to. You buy noodles and you buy noodles and hot Cheetos. You don't even know what your favorite food is. You haven't even explored your palate to understand what your favorite herb is, what your favorite food is, what your favorite whatever it is. Because you buy hot Cheetos and motherfucking noodles because that's what I sell you as, and that's what you think you like because that's what I give your motherfucking ass. First off, to my warrior class, to the niggas, to the bad guys, because everybody needs a bad guy. Everybody got to have somebody they can look down on and be like, yeah, that's why I'm me, and that's why you got them problems. And you don't even know, right? First off, think about your identity, because you know who the fuck you is. You just got to think about it first. And then when you start thinking about your identity, when you start thinking, motherfucker, go watch Lion King, go to that part when Rafika was like, niggas, who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
Right. When you looking around and got so much opinions and judgments about and who we can make look like this and us this and them, us versus them. Motherfucker, what about you first? That's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? Like Trent Shelton says, it starts with you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about your identity. And when you grasp all it takes for that Black DNA to heal, for that Black family, for that Black culture to shock back into place and reconstruct that nucleus, it don't take much for us, man. You go pick up a 10-pound weight, you gonna walk out there, motherfucker, like you're lifted. You know what I'm saying? They be like, damn, these niggas be getting built so fast. Their bodies just change so fast. And oh, that's because y'all went through slavery, and that's because all no, motherfucker, that's Black DNA, motherfucker. That's the original, motherfucker. That's like you can take
I like that you say that though. Basically, man, instead of clicking up, instead of trying to follow what's popular,
you can have your clicks. You can have your clicks. That's a warrior class. Like we got our military.
Yeah.
Like they try to make it seem like they're trying to go to this ideology that white supremacists are now not a faction, like they're not together no more. They are fucking codified. They are motherfucking together. Just because they don't meet up together in hoods and burn crosses together no more, don't mean they not connected. You got the motherfucking game twisted. So don't dissolve our warrior.
But you're saying that this is more the man, be an individual. And that's what being individual in the clique.
Have an identity. Have an identity.
Yeah.
How can I identify you? How can you tell me, because they look at you like all niggas the same.
Yeah.
No, motherfucker, I like creme brulee. Motherfucker, no, motherfucker. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like wild boar, nigga. What the fuck you talking about? Niggas don't eat wild boar, motherfucker. I like wild boar. I like ostrich, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Have an identity. Have a fingerprint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have a finger. Have something that no one has this. You know what I'm saying? You can't go nowhere in the motherfucking world and find another one of these. And it's the same thing with an idea. And that's what they did to you. They gave you one full clean sweep, and now we can just put all your numbers over here, and we can feel like this because we've done our statistics and we know the outcomes and we know the psychological, because that's how they programmed you. Identity. Then when you get that identity, your ideas gonna start coming. And then when your ideas, they're gonna be tailored to you. Your ideas are gonna come straight out of the cusp of your identity. And then when you start having ideas, then you're gonna find your ideals. And then when you start finding your ideals, then you're going to be able to begin to amass the knowledge and wisdom to contribute. Because it starts with the man. It starts with the man. You're gonna once you get your ideals, you're gonna amass the knowledge and wisdom that it takes for you to begin to continuously generate who you are and fulfill out and live out your purpose. You have a purpose. Niggas don't talk about what's your purpose. I can't even bring them to the conversation of what your purpose. You were born with it, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You'll never get to that conversation of purpose if you're too busy trying to fit in and worried about what everybody think about you. You're not going to be able to find out what you were meant to do. You know what I'm saying? That's just like I said. I can go back to what I said about Einstein earlier today. If Einstein gave a motherfucking fuck about what everybody was saying, that nigga would have never formulated, bro. We would not have E equals MC squared. Them motherfuckers was like, that motherfucker crazy, man. The consensus was like that. The councils of scientists was like, that motherfucker's a kook. Get the fuck out of here. That motherfucker had an identity. That motherfucker had an idea. That motherfucker had ideals. And that motherfucker lived out his purpose and he formulated. And you can too. It starts with you, black man. Well, how can we bring our warrior class to be proactive? Well, the only reason you don't feel like you're capable of protecting and you have not amassed anything to protect. Okay, maybe you had some kids. Okay, maybe you got a baby mom, maybe you got a wife. That's your family. What have you amassed to protect? Okay, maybe you got a few TVs, maybe you got a car, maybe you got this, maybe you got that. Where are you sitting as it relates to being a steward of the earth? Your God-given things that you were given to protect. Your life, your liberty, and your pursuit of happiness. We talk about those things. I will protect those things with my life. If you come and try to fuck with my happiness, I might kill your ass. Because what the fuck did I do to you? I'm just over here trying to be happy. If you come over here trying to fuck with my life, I didn't ask to be born. What the fuck is you fucking with my life for? I might kill you about that. If you come over here fucking with my liberty, which is the things I like to do, my hobbies and shit. Motherfucker, I like to swim sometimes. If you come over here fucking with me because I like to swim and fucking with my liberties, motherfucker, I might kill you, motherfucker. So what have you amassed? Something inalienable that God gave you that cannot be taken away from you. That is why you have to inset. You got to get to your purpose in order for you to know. And then you can't protect something when you don't have a purpose for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So white America has run a number and really they think they run amok on us, but they really kind of fuck themselves over, man, bad. I mean, American GDP by $16 trillion worth of wealth that you have taken away from our great nation. You tell me black people, black Americans, there are no black Americans. We the best version of a patriot that this motherfucker will ever see. There is no one more patriotic than a black American. Motherfucker, you can't fly a flag higher harder than a black American. You ain't went through half of the motherfucking shit that we went through and still claim the fame of this motherfucker. Didn't even share the power that I produced with you. But the pendulum is eventually going to swing in another direction. What can our warrior class do? Identify. Ideal, motherfucker. You might like something and you can't even find out what you like because you're too busy trying to fit in and worry about what people think about you.
So I'm about to get up out of here, man. I appreciate the conversation, man. You got any last thoughts for these people? Yeah, man. You got anything else to say to these people, man? That's how you fix the structure of the black community. That's how you fix all of that bullshit. It's too easy. That's just too easy. I got something for them. You'll never stop the attack. Yeah. But if you was a Boy Scout like me, all you can do is be prepared. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do is be prepared. All you can do is stay ready. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head on a swivel. I know the black woman is wilding. I know she wilding, and I think I know in a lot of ways she thinks she knows what she's doing better than you. But there are certain things that you learn as a man that a woman not gonna learn. There are certain things that a woman learns that a man not gonna never be able to understand.
Motherfucker, you ain't gonna never understand a period, nigga. She can tell you about it, motherfucker, but you ain't gonna never know about it. You are never gonna understand what it means when testosterone begins to pump into your blood system and you begin to feel the power of manhood. This is something that any man can understand. When testosterone begins to pump into your blood and nobody understands you, and you feel like you're crazy and you feel like you're confused, but you're in the stages of the coming of a man. Can't no woman explain that shit to you, what's going on with you. She think you crazy. She up in here punching you in the motherfucking mouth because she think you got a motherfucking problem.
But
And we don't, I got to talk about the emasculation of the black man or nothing like that. But I'll leave it to because I like leaders. Anybody without a leader, I ain't talking about your OG. I ain't talking about somebody who gonna lead you to death, jail, or you know what I'm saying. Find a leader. I'll leave it with this, because I did say that sometimes black women think they know better than a black man, and we as men and women species were designed to know different things. And so I don't know better than you, and I'm never gonna act like I do, and I'm gonna honor you in every way that I can. And don't ever think that you know better than we do, and position yourself in public and say shit in public. We can do what the fuck we want to do behind that motherfucking door. But when in public, you position yourself and you have fallen victim to the propaganda that they have given you. They don't need no black man out here having some type of confidence like he know who the fuck he is and empowering himself and generating his communities and looking like equal, because his women gonna start coming over here because we already got something you don't got. And I ain't talking about that thing swinging. Yeah. I'm talking about, don't ever, black woman, think that we were not designed to protect you. Men were designed to protect women. And when we get outside of that, men were designed to protect their country. And so I can't even get into the conversation of countrymen until white men get their motherfucking mind right. Motherfucker, you ain't my motherfucking countryman or my brother and sister in motherfucking Christ if you can walk away from me and think that you are better than me in any motherfucking way. That's why we all came out of the pussy, motherfucker. Yeah. Unless you were birthed out of some dimension of the earth and you were sent through a portal here, and if you came through the pussy, ain't nothing special about you. And we're all supposed to be moving this thing forward. And so when we're talking about progress for Black America and people got a problem with that, you're a part of the wrong conversation, and you need to stop we are at war. I'll leave it at that. Black family, we are at war because all we have been trying to do is make progress in this land since we've been here. We've been the moral compass of this country. We have produced progress in this country. We have produced power in this country. We have produced wealth in this country. And all I'm saying is we can keep moving in that direction. And when we start having Black conversations and we start talking about reparations, don't bring your twisted up, fucked up, screwed up motherfucking ass over here. Go find your own identity, ideals, and do you. Because if they are built around the destruction of us, then you are you are anti-Christ. So don't tell me that you're my brother in Christ when your consciousness is built around the degradation and the destruction of my people while we're trying to advance ourselves. If the Mexicans was talking about we want California back, y'all had that conversation with California. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't finna sit over and be like, y'all, you motherfuckers ain't finna get California. Y'all stupid. No, do what you do to advance your people. And until we can do that from a space in our identities, we're gonna keep falling back. But we're coming up, and we're coming up, and more people are realizing who we are. So you can't force it. You can't force a person to know thyself. So,
man, I do appreciate you coming up on here. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to do this again. But I do appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and get you out of here. I'm gonna say some of my final thoughts on it. Then I gotta go handle some business. But be easy, big brother, man. Take care of yourself. Like we gotta do this again one of these days.
No final thoughts.
I'm about to finish it up when I get you out of here. Type. I'm gonna kick you and then basically talk to the people.
Get me out of here
and then talk to the people. Yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Be easy, family.
Go with it. All
right. Continue. Man. I told y'all I had a high level conversation for you. I told y'all I was finna start doing this. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. Man, he hit the nose on the hammer. or he hit the nail on the head with the hammer. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, that was a pretty powerful conversation. I ain't, man. He hit it on the head. I like that he said that, though. I like that he gave the actionable steps. I believe everybody needs to find their identity. And like you said, man, once you get your own identity, man, you start coming up with thoughts for yourself. And once you start coming up with those thoughts, you start developing morals and principles behind them. And after you do that, man, that's when your purpose comes into play. I don't even know what I'm gonna title this yet on YouTube. It's gonna be up by Friday. Probably on Friday, 10 o'clock on Friday, it's gonna be up. Man, I appreciate everybody watching. I most definitely appreciate the guests. Antoinette, to answer that question, you talking about following God, bro? I don't believe nothing to really come out that book, so I don't know. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody that watched. I appreciate everybody that's gonna watch. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Share it to your friends, man. Let them know what they got to come over here and see. Peace and blessings to you, family.